And how do the sessions, I mean, I could answer this for myself, but I'd love for you to articulate how you've seen that the sessions help people actually get on board with those truths that we've read on calendars and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, okay, so I call myself like a biofeedback person for the soul, because what I can see when people are speaking, I'm not like a psychic where I can be like, blah, 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 this is what's going on, like, just to a really specific degree without engaging with the person. I can a little bit, but it's more, I feel like what my specialty is really the soul work. So when somebody is talking, I can see if they're speaking from an idea of what they think they should be doing, or actually if it's coming from their authentic self. And to me, it looks like if they're speaking in the front of their head, or when they're connected to their whole chakra system. So, and I feel it viscerally in my body too, is like, you know, it feels like if a chord is harmonious or discordant, I think is the word. So I think then what I do is kind of I'm like a human biofeedback machine where I give them instant feedback when they're connected and not connected, so that they hopefully learn to then sense that in themselves because they've gotten that feedback. So I think having guides on the process is so helpful, and having, you know, I think it's a helpful, nifty skill that somehow my higher self created for this lifetime that helps people to orient. And it's never really that shocking. Tell me, is it? I mean, people usually tell me that it's very natural and very like the deepest part of themselves that was hoping to have courage in that direction, and to have it validated in such a specific way by an external person makes your ego, this is what it really is, it makes the ego unable to be like, I'm full of shit, because that you're like, that person is saying the same exact thing that I've been really running from in myself, and she's really in a loving but an intense direct way being like, this is it, this is it. And I think that's scary at times for people, but ultimately like totally freeing, because it's just like the charade is over, the gig is up, you know. It's just kind of like freedom to really come into what you've always known. I have on the back of my business card the phrase that intuition is having the courage to know what you already know. So it's usually not really like, yeah, totally new information.
Yeah.
Does that feel true to you?
Yeah. I think if there's some way that you could put in your own words, my experience is also that it's like just been such a relief to be validated externally that the good news, the positive interpretation, the encouraging interpretation is the true interpretation.
Wow, I just got chills, yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what your work does.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's really like choosing love. And to me, it's not like a cheesy statement. To me, love is a real energy. Are we in love, expansion, connection, you know, like really connecting to our authentic selves where we see stuff and it makes sense? Or fear, where it's like clouded constriction, separation, where yeah, everything feels off and trying and a lot of doing and not a lot of being.
And how do the sessions work with those two
energies? I put a lot of intention, time, and practice into running the energy of love. Mm. So my hope, and this is what people notice, you know, sometimes people tell me like, I felt tingly before our first session. I started crying before I ever talked to you the first time on the phone. I've been carrying your business card in my wallet and staring at it for months, and I knew there's going to be a certain divine timing to when I actually talk to you, and now I understand why. I hear that stuff constantly, and I think what they're sensing is the energy of love that I work really hard to bring through in the sessions, and also have had amazing teachers to help transfer to me. So it's not, you know, just something I'm doing, my ego's doing on my own. I've been blessed to be around some really big love downloads in my lifetime, this lifetime, and maybe others. And and so Yeah, I think, some people say like they're worried they're getting addicted to sessions. And to me, I think you can't really get addicted to sessions. I mean, once in a rare time I'll feel like where someone's using sessions to maybe avoid something in their life, but I'll tell them that, and that's very rare. Much more often it's intense validation for a deep soul wound that we've carried our whole lives, and it's starting to get reorientation, and we're hungry for that. We need that. That's like oxygen. That's like, water in a desert. So in the beginning you might feel like really hungry after your first session, like when's my next one, and that's normal. And just know that my goal isn't for you to be dependent on my information, but for you to learn how to do it yourself and to get more and more competent and confident in your connection. So, but sometimes it takes a teacher, and I mean, I don't even know whatever that means, but somebody who can give you that feedback and support, because it's overwhelming out there. Which is why I wrote my energetic codependency book. Here's like a segue, I guess, is energetic codependency is about, that book is about how there's so many other energies around us that influence on a daily basis. So whether they're beings with bodies, like friends and family, whether they're beings without bodies, like spirits, whether they're group energies, like the energy of a funeral or wedding or a football game, or like a newscast, the media. There's so many different kinds of energies that we can be influenced by all the time. And so a lot of us don't have discernment about when that is. So we either assume it's all psychological, like, oh, that's my shadow self, that's a psychological complex, and then usually make ourselves wrong. Or we just have no discernment around it and just think, oh, I'm feeling funky because I had pizza for breakfast, or I got in a fight. We start thinking of rational things to assign the funky feelings for. But I wrote that book because many of us are empaths, and the definition of empath is kind of like, I can feel what you're feeling. So if you're anxious and standing next to me, I can literally feel my body anxious. And so the energetic codependency book is to help us learn to navigate those energies so that we give that energy back with love, give that person their karma, so that we can be clear and free in our own authentic reality, and then start to be in joy in the world, empowered in the world.
How have you seen, as people begin to integrate that work of energetic codependency, especially under the guidance of the book, how have you seen that take effect in their life?
I've gotten some awesome emails and had some awesome phone calls about people claiming their lives in really big ways right after they read the book. There's a couple awesome stories that I'd love to tell, but I can't go into without permission from the people. But I think, I've just heard people reading the book and being like, this is me, oh my gosh, like this makes sense of my experience with my family, my friends, or my work environment, or whatever it is. A lot of people are saying energetic codependency. I don't even know what that meant. I wouldn't even necessarily pick up a book that said that, because I didn't think I was codependent. But then as I started reading, really understanding how much I was merging with other realities. And the point of the book is to kind of make your boundary, your energetic boundary, your aura more thick and strong, so that you can be your full flavor in the world, instead of merging, like when you're watercoloring and you have like a whole bunch of different colors and they start to mix up, it makes kind of just like this brown mucky pile, instead of keeping the energies really vibrant and alive. And that doesn't mean that we're never intimate or never joining with someone, but we're doing it in a way where we're keeping our own authentic flavor, so that it is actually true intimacy, instead of I believe what you believe because I'm feeling some weird pressure to feel that, or I feel guilty about this other thing, or resentful, so I don't know my reality anymore.
And could you talk about how that that energetic codependency piece relates to the soul voice piece?
That's a really good question. The way out of energetic codependency is really getting in connection with your guidance. But the first stage is starting to really discern what are those other energies. First, understanding that might not be your energy. So that's really what the energetic codependency book is about, just like figuring out that there are these other energies that can be influenced by us. Here's how you can know that they are active in your life, and here's some basic visualizations, meditations, and exercises you can do to start clarifying that. The book's 140 pages. There's tons of worksheets. It's a PDF. You can print it out, or you can just read it on your e-reader or your computer. I recommend printing the whole thing out and putting it in a 3-ring binder and using it. Keep it next to your bed. Do the exercises, do the visualizations, because you will notice everything different. You will start to see everything around you differently when you really process the information in the book.
And there are just so many people who have come up. I mean, just even people I know who have begun to see that. And it seems like the main kind of thrust of it, how it relates to the soul voice, is that through doing the energetic codependency work, it's all basically about getting in contact with that path.
Yeah.
That you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, getting in touch with your soul path. I really believe that we incarnate here for a reason. We have a specific kind of agenda of what we're working on in each lifetime. And it's just efficient when we actually start to really surrender into what we're doing here, so that we're not... Because when we're not really connected to that, the feeling is always a little treading water and a little like, what am I doing here? So... you don't have to feel that way. You don't have to feel like, what am I doing here?
You don't have to feel that way.
Yeah.
And by using the energetic codependency work, it seems like the sessions and the book are ways to just get more discerning about what that voice is. Just getting more and more clear, so that your time here is more efficient, basically. More
efficient. Spiritual efficiency is kind of what I'm all about. I am a Capricorn with a lot of Sagittarius, so that's hilarious. But I really know why I'm here. Like, I know why I'm here. And that doesn't mean that it takes away all pain. It doesn't mean that, like, everything's peachy all the time. But it's on purpose. You understand what you're doing. Synchronicities are happening constantly. It's like there's this flow going and you're in it. And it's such a good feeling, I gotta tell ya. Because I suffered when I wasn't connected to that. I think I really hated the feeling of not being connected to that. And I really get desperate and crazy when I'm not connected to it. And I think that's why I'm so motivated to do this work with people, because maybe it's projection, but I feel like everybody, when they're not connected to that, it's a little excruciating. And the excruciating doesn't have to be conscious. It can be an unconscious excruciating, which looks like a low-grade depression or like cumulative, just constant anxiety. It can show up in a lot of different ways. Neurosis. Body issues. Health problems. Yeah, it can just show up. Addictions. Oh yeah, big time. Mm-hmm.